Good evening, welcome to tonight's meeting of North Planning. Obviously a slight late start as we were doing majors until a few moments ago. This is live on the Council's YouTube site, so it will be broadcast, but only those of us at this end of the table are visible. So those sitting quietly in the audience waiting for whatever it is that interests you won't be. Can I do apologies for absence first, please?
Apologies from Councillor Steve Tuckwell with Councillor Nicola Brightman substituted.
Thank you. Any declarations of interest? Minutes of 30th of January, can I take those as agreed? Thank you. We are taking the agenda that was published by the Head of Planning. There are no changes to it. Items 6 to 11 are in public and will be on the YouTube recording. Item 12 is an enforcement report and is in part 2 and will be taken in private when we get that far. I'm going to truncate announcements tonight. There are no petitions, there are no speaking rights, so it's straightforward officer presentations and member decisions. And if we do hear a fire alarm, we'll get now. It's the short version. That away. We'll see who gets the door first. Okay. Given the hour, I will move on. Hardip, your first time as presenter, I think, almost?
As lead presenter.
As lead presenter. You did do a dual act with one last time out. So I'll leave you start off with item 6, 36 Rodney Gardens, Eastcote Pinner.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, everyone. So item 6 is 36 Rodney Gardens, Eastcote Pinner. The proposal seeks planning permission for a single-storey rear extension and first floor side and rear extension. The site is located on the northeastern side of Rodney Gardens and consists of a 2-storey semi-detached dwelling which has a brick and white render external finish. The existing property has a side garage to the front and a part single-storey rear extension. It has an originally open porch to the front. It is set within the Eastcote Park Estate Conservation Area and is one half of a pair of semis, with the other half being number 38 Rodney Gardens, which, as I'm sure you'll all be aware, has an application for a similar proposal listed as item 7 on this agenda. So if I can take you through the documents. So sorry, just to where that obviously screen is not working, so we're down to the one. I hope you can all see. That's the site location. That's the constraints plan confirming the site within the conservation area. That is the existing layout, and there the existing rear extension. And then that is the proposal. So infilling that site, the rear extension there, and then that is the side and rear extension. At the bottom there are the proposed front elevation and the proposed rear elevations. Plans there confirm the proposal is set in from the side, so it's clear of any impingements on any 45 degrees taken from the nearest habitable windows. Aerial view and some site photographs. As we look at it, that is number 36 and that is number 38. So that's the rear view, front. So that's looking from 38 over into 36. Again, existing. That's the rear garden. That's a general street scene which confirms that the house styles along the street vary in style. So the main impact is obviously the proposal is on the character of the area, the conservation area. The proposal is in full accordance with the HDAS guidelines and the conservation management plan. It is considered to be subordinate to the main dwelling by virtue of its size, scale, bulk, height and design, which would harmonise with the existing character and appearance of the street scene. Therefore, it is considered that the proposed development would preserve the character and appearance of the original dwelling as well as the Eastcote Park Estate Conservation Area. The Council's Conservation Officer has raised no objections, confirming that the first floor extension sits well back from the front elevation so that the original design of the house remains clearly distinguishable, and given a number of similar extensions, the conservation area is preserved. Therefore, for the reasons summarised, it is recommended that the application be approved subject to conditions. There is an addendum which simply adds the standard condition restricting the potential use of the small flat roof as a roof garden, terrace or similar. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Councillor Higgins, I think you were first to indicate.
It's nice to have such a straightforward thing, so I'll go with offers of recommendation.
Do I have a seconder for that? Thank you, Councillor Brightman. Does anybody else have anything to raise on this one? No? Okay, we are proposing secretary to accept officer recommendations as varied by the addendum. All those in favour, please show me. Thank you very much. That one's approved. We now move to 38 Rodney Gardens.
Yep. Obviously, so this application simply seeks a first floor side and rear extension. The site, as we know, is located on the northeastern side of Rodney Gardens. What I will do is I will go straight into the slide. So this is the existing layout. As you'll notice here, it has a full ground floor rear extension, which already exists. This proposal simply seeks the side and rear first floor extension. Proposed front elevations are here at the bottom. Again, pictures of the existing. That's the neighbouring property on the other side. Again, as before, this proposal is in full accordance with the HSAS guidelines and the Conservation Management Plan. It's subordinate to main dwelling by virtue of its size, scale, bulk, height and design, and it would harmonise with the existing character and appearance of the street scene. Therefore, it is considered that the development would preserve the character of the conservation area. Again, the Council's conservation officers raised no objections on the same grounds as number 36, and therefore, for the reasons summarised, it is recommended that the application be approved subject to conditions, and it has an addendum which seeks the additional condition as was previously discussed. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Flynn this time.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, thank you for the presentation. I think, given what we've seen is next door, we'd be on pretty thin ice if we were recommending refusal for this. So I'm happy to go with the officer's recommendation.
Councillor Oswald?
I'll second that, Chairman. Thank you.
All those in favour, please show me. Thank you very much. That one's approved. I now move to item 8, the old farmhouse, 151 Joel Street, Northwood.
Thank you, Chairman. This application seeks planning permission to replace the existing structure which links the main building and the orangery with a slightly enlarged structure. The site is the Joel Farmhouse, is a mid-18th century building which is locally listed and within the Greenbelt. The application proposes various alterations to the locally listed building. However, it is only the alteration to the existing structure which links the orangery to the main house which requires formal consent. If I take you through this presentation, that's the site identified in red. Constraints plans which confirms it's within the Greenbelt. This is the existing arrangement, and the proposal is so small, but that is the element there. It links the main building to the orangery here. It's an existing structure which already exists, currently at 1 metre squared, and as we'll see, the proposed enlargement is just over 2 metres. So it's a very modest proposal. Here it is on the proposed plan. So as you'll see, that it effectively opens up the main open plan kitchen space into the new orangery. Allows ease of access through there. In the side elevation that's the structure there. Aerial view. That's the existing structure. White PVC, fairly dated. That's the outlook into the garden. Main view back towards the property in the orangery. And that's the front of the building. The main issues, although it is within the Greenbelt, the proposal clearly meets the test as set out in the MPPF under the exceptions, as a modest extension or alteration does not result in a disproportionate addition over and above the size of the original building. The proposed plans illustrate the demolition of the existing rear extension, which links the orangery to the main dwelling, and replacement with a slightly wider, more modern extension. The footprint of the existing extension is 1 square metre, and the proposed footprint would be 2.6 square metres with a flat roof of 2.5 metres in height. It will be constructed with a modern frameless glass glazing, which is considered more sympathetic to the historic value of the locally listed building. The Council's Conservation Officer has raised no objections. Given the minor scale of the development, it is considered that the extension is of a size and scale which would not impact on the historic value of the locally listed building or the openness of the for the reasons summarised.
Councillor Higgins, I think I saw your hand move.
I'll go with Doctor's recommendations. Very small.
Councillor Oswald?
Yeah, thank you very much, Chairman. Yeah, we're not even going to see it, are we? So, yeah, I'll second that, Chairman. It's perfectly reasonable, I think.
Okay, all those in favour, please show me. That one's approved. I will introduce item 9 very briefly because this is an item which was deferred by this committee for further information. The applicant was seeking the removal of the conditions secured by design. We sought further information from Metropolitan Police because they are maintaining an objection to this being removed. In other words, they want it complied with. As you will see from the front section of your report, the police have set out a clear rationale as to why they want that, and therefore, if members have no questions, I would suggest this refusal is upheld. Somebody propose for me? Happy to propose, happy to second. All those in favour of refusal, please show me. Thank you very much. Items 10 and 11 relate to the same site, and therefore we'll take 2 votes but one presentation. They're all discharges of conditions, so the only matters we are concerned with is the discharge of the conditions. The planning permission exists, so it's about the discharge of the conditions, and that's the only matters the officer will refer to.
Thanks, Chair. Yep, the site is located on the eastern side of the Swedcliffe Road. It is currently occupied by a 4-bedroom detached house occupying a large plot. The outline planning consent was granted under the plan reference ending 1443. That was dated in March 2017 for a 2-storey dwelling with habitable basement and roof space to create 6 one-bed self-contained flats with associated parking, bin store and amenity space. The matters reserved were landscaping, layout and scale. Item 10 has an addendum which simply clarifies that the OS plan, the correct OS plan is attached to item 11, which is page 68. Item 10 seeks approval for the reserved matters relating to the landscaping, layout and scale reserved by conditions 2 and 3 of the existing outline permission. Item 11 relates to the discharge of condition 6, which is the levels, 7 materials, 8 relates to site clearance, 9 landscaping scheme, and 11 which is the sustainable water management. All relevant specialist officers have been consulted and all have raised no objections. The boundary treatment between the application site and adjoining properties has been considered by consultees and has been considered appropriate. The drainage plans have been reviewed by the floodwater management officer and has been found acceptable. Some of the concerns raised by neighbouring residents relate to party wall matters and other issues which fall outside the remit of the planning process. The layout of the site, car parking and hard and soft landscaping is considered to provide a high quality residential development that relates to the street scene and the context of the area. The proposal includes generous native planting around the front boundary of the site which reinforces the suburban context. The mature oak tree situated at the entrance of the site contributes to the street scene and is being retained. The bin and cycle stores have been placed appropriately and the proposal accords with the outline consent. In particular, the cycle store is proposed to be situated at the rear of the house with a maximum height of 1.6 metres and constructed from timber. For the reasons summarised, it is recommended that both of these applications are approved, and I will run you through the plans. That's the site outlined in red. That is the outline of the proposed parking to the front and the bin store to the front corner. The mature tree there is to the front. This is the layout at ground, first floor and the roof plan. Shows the proposal has a green wall to the rear element as well. This is the landscaping, confirms the buff pavement towards the rear, permeable surfaces, all which are considered acceptable by the specialist officers. Confirmation of the trees and the tree protection measures. That's the aerial view of the site. Some pictures. Large existing mature tree to be retained. View the property to the front. This is the existing timber fencing which would be replaced. Better viewed here. And that's the front elevation. Application site is here. And it will have the new boundary treatment to the front and to the side. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Oswald? I'll do item 10 first and then 11.
Yeah, move the officer's recommendation for item 10, Chairman.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All those in favour, please clearly show. Thank you. That's approved. Item 11, can I take the same two proposers and seconders?
You certainly can, Chairman.
All those in favour, please clearly show me. Thank you very much. That's approved. Done. If I could just ask you to leave us now while we do the last item, can I also ask